You ever feel like your emotions are a storm you can't escape? Like every little thing, every look, every word, every silence hits you with a weight that others seem to barely notice? You feel too deeply. Maybe you've laughed at a joke that wasn't even funny just because someone else did, and afterward, your chest tightens for no reason you can name, or maybe a single compliment lingers in your mind for days, replaying over and over like a fragile melody you can't quite hold. If this feels familiar, then this video is for you. Because today, we're going to explore the psychology of people who feel too much, the invisible, unspoken world of those whose hearts carry more than anyone else seems to understand. Feeling too much isn't just about being sensitive. It's not about crying during movies or writing poetry in secret journals, though these are the visible signs. It's a profound, often invisible way of existing in the world. Imagine walking through life wearing a second skin, a layer that absorbs everything: the anger of strangers, the sadness of friends, the unspoken pain of your own memories. While others brush off a harsh comment or shrug at a minor disappointment, you carry it with you, sometimes for hours, sometimes for days. You feel the echoes of everything, and it's exhausting. People who feel too much often start noticing this about themselves early in life. Maybe you were the child who asked too many questions about why people acted the way they did. Maybe you watched your parents argue and felt each word like a punch in your own chest, though you couldn't explain why. Maybe you noticed the sadness in classmates who pretended to be happy and felt compelled to comfort them even when your own heart was cracking. These early experiences teach you that your empathy is both a gift and a curse. It allows you to connect in ways that others cannot, but it also leaves you exposed, vulnerable, and endlessly attentive to the moods and emotions of those around you. Psychologists call this trait highly sensitive personality, or HSP. Research suggests that roughly 15 to 20% of people have nervous systems wired to notice subtleties and absorb emotional stimuli more intensely than average. But it's not just biology. It's also experience, conditioning, and sometimes trauma. If you grew up in an environment where emotions were volatile, unspoken, or ignored, your brain learns to pay extreme attention. You become a scanner of moods, a reader of unspoken cues, a silent observer of the undercurrents that others walk past. You don't just see what's in front of you, you feel what's behind it, and sometimes that's a lot to carry. Feeling too much often comes with a strange duality. On one hand, you can experience life with incredible depth. The first snowfall of the year feels magical. A song on the radio can bring tears to your eyes. A simple act of kindness can feel like sunlight after a storm. On the other hand, the same sensitivity can become a prison. Everyday disappointments hit harder. Casual criticism feels like judgment of your very soul. Seeing suffering, whether it's on the news, in a friend's eyes, or even a passing stranger, can feel unbearable. You live in extremes because your brain interprets ordinary experiences with extraordinary intensity. You might notice a pattern in your relationships too. You're drawn to people who are intense, complicated, or troubled. You want to fix them, heal them, understand them, but at the same time, you pull back when things get too close, too fast, too real. It's not that you don't want connection, it's that connection feels like a tidal wave threatening to drown you. And often you'll end up alone, not because you prefer it, but because protecting yourself becomes necessary for survival. There's also a quiet loneliness that comes with feeling too much. You might sit in a room full of people and feel entirely unseen, even invisible. Everyone else seems to glide through life effortlessly, unaffected by the storm of feelings swirling inside you. They can laugh at a joke and move on. They can experience heartbreak and quickly forget. But for you, every interaction leaves a mark. Every look, every word, every nuance is cataloged, analyzed, and stored. And sometimes it feels like nobody could ever truly understand the depth of what you carry. But here's the thing: feeling too much is not a weakness, it's a superpower disguised as a burden. People who feel too much often have unparalleled empathy, creativity, and insight. You notice patterns that others miss. You understand motivations that others cannot articulate. You sense when someone is hurting before they say a word. You see the world in textures, in colors, in layers of emotion that most people ignore. Your ability to feel deeply allows you to connect with art, music, and human experience in ways that are rich, profound, and transformative. Still, the challenge is learning how to manage this depth without letting it consume you. Many people who feel too much struggle with boundaries. You might absorb other people's pain as if it were your own. You might carry guilt for feeling joy when others are suffering. You might retreat from the world, overwhelmed by the intensity of it all. The solution isn't to numb yourself, though. It's to learn how to navigate your emotional landscape with care, understanding, and intention. One strategy is mindfulness, simply noticing your emotions without judgment, labeling them, and letting them pass can create a surprising sense of relief. Another is emotional hygiene, learning to distinguish between what is truly yours and what belongs to others. If a friend is angry, you can empathize without carrying their anger home. If a stranger is sad, you can acknowledge it without letting it seep into your own heart. And yes, boundaries matter, not just physical, but emotional. It's okay to step back, to protect your energy, to say no to situations that drain you. Feeling deeply doesn't mean you have to absorb everything. Another important aspect is finding your people, the ones who get it, the ones who understand that your intensity isn't dramatic, it's how your brain and heart are wired. Sharing your experiences with those who understand can be healing in ways nothing else can. Whether it's through friendship, community, or creative expression, connection is crucial for those who feel too much. Because even though your sensitivity can isolate you, it can also connect you in ways that are rare and beautiful. Let me tell you a story. I once knew someone who would cry at commercials, not because they were sad, but because they felt the emotion behind the story so fully it resonated in their own life. They would call friends late at night, not with complaints, but with observations, little truths about human behavior, patterns they noticed in the world that nobody else seemed to see. At first, people found it overwhelming. "Why are you so sensitive?" they would ask. But over time, they realized that this person's depth was a gift. Their ability to feel allowed them to be compassionate in ways others could not, to understand pain without judgment, and to create art, writing, and stories that touched countless lives. This is the paradox of feeling too much. It can isolate you, but it can also elevate you. It can break you, but it can also heal. Feeling too much also has its subtle dangers. Chronic stress and emotional overload can lead to anxiety, depression, or burnout. When your brain is constantly scanning for emotional stimuli, it never really gets a rest. Small triggers, like an offhand comment at work or a tense interaction with a loved one, can spiral into days of ruminating and self-blame. That's why self-care isn't just a buzzword. It's essential for survival. But self-care for those who feel too much is not about bubble baths or indulgences alone. It's about managing your inner environment, setting boundaries, creating spaces of calm, and learning techniques to release the weight of other people's emotions before they crush you. And yet, even with all this, there's a beauty in feeling too much. Your love, your sorrow, your joy, they are not superficial. They are deep, complex, and authentic. You notice the shades in people that others miss. You can feel gratitude so intensely it humbles you. You can experience pain so fully it transforms you. You live life in full spectrum, not in shades of gray. And yes, it can be tiring, but it's also what makes you extraordinary. Sometimes, the world can feel too harsh for someone like you. People might call you dramatic or oversensitive, dismissing your experiences as exaggerated or unnecessary. But here's the truth. The depth you feel is real. Your capacity for empathy, for understanding, for connecting is real. And the world needs it, even if it doesn't always appreciate it. The people who feel too much are the ones who notice the invisible, who hold space for the unspoken, who give voice to the quiet suffering and joy of others. You may never be the person who can shrug off insults, who can walk past suffering without noticing, or who can sleep through heartbreak. But that's okay. You don't have to be that person. You were never meant to be. You were meant to feel, to experience, to dive into the depths where most people fear to go. And if you learn to navigate that depth wisely, if you learn to honor your own emotions while setting boundaries, you can turn what feels like a burden into a source of strength, insight, and beauty. So, if you feel too much, know this: you're not broken, you're not too sensitive, you're not overreacting. You are living fully in a world that often encourages numbness, distraction, and emotional distance. You are alive in a way that few can truly understand, and that is something precious. The next time your chest tightens because someone's sadness has touched you, or when tears come for reasons you can't explain, remember that this is not a flaw. It is a reflection of your humanity, of your capacity to care, to connect, and to see the world in a richness most people never notice. Learn to honor it, protect it, nurture it, and allow it to guide you toward experiences, people, and spaces that resonate with your depth. Because feeling too much is not a weakness. It is the mark of someone who's alive in ways that are rare, extraordinary, and beautiful. You feel the world, yes, but more importantly, you make the world feel, and that is a gift. So today, take a moment, breathe, recognize the storm inside you, but also recognize the light it can create. Feel your emotions without judgment, honor them, and remember that in a world that often prizes numbness and detachment, your depth is a kind of courage. Your sensitivity is a superpower, quietly shaping the world, one compassionate heartbeat at a time. And if you ever doubt yourself, if you ever feel the weight of feeling too much crushing you, remember this: you're not alone. You're not a mistake. You are not too much. You are human, and there is profound beauty in that.